What's going on, everyone? Talon here, and welcome to another account progression video. Alright, so in this one we're going to be getting Titania to tier 2. Alright, so I've been having a lot of fun playing around with Titania here. She's just really fun to use in pretty much every game mode I've used her in, so I figure it is time to tier 2 here. I did use my bios that I got from, the first phase of Ebony Maw for World Boss Ultimate. So those 300 bios went directly into her and got her gears leveled up. So now she is ready to go. So let's take a look at her before we tier 2 her. First of all, she has max skill cooldown, and that's about it for these stats here because everything else is pretty low or just average. And then for her gear, I do have skill cooldown over here because without this I'm at 46%, so I do need this to get the extra 4%. I think this gives you more than 4% though, so I'll probably end up just giving her some skill cooldown Urus to get her to the 50% and change this to ignore defense. And then for her skills here, we have her third skill leveled up all the way, of course, so that we can get the most benefits from the accumulated damage. And then what else we got here? We have our fourth skill leveled up for the increase to all attack, all defense, all speed. And those are the only two skills that we have leveled up. Her Isoweight set, we have Power the Angry Hulk, so I do like having an attack-based set on her. And then for her custom gear, I have a immune to guard break, recovery with invincibility. And I do like actually an invincibility obelisk on her because she is a very close quarters combat character, but if you are really good at her skill rotation, you are able to keep her pretty much immune to damage, or at least safe for the whole battle, because you can activate her damage immunity, then you can use a couple more skills and go into her fifth skill at the very end of when your damage immunity is wearing off, and then the iframe from your fifth skill usually gives you just enough time to activate the third skill again when the fifth skill finishes. So you can pretty much be out of harm's way the entire time. But I still like having this invincibility obelisk as a nice little cushion, and it makes her a little better for PvP modes like Alliance Conquest and that kind of stuff. And the immune to guard break I definitely think is not really a must for her, but strongly recommended. I definitely see the immune to guard break really helping her out in every mode that I've used her in. So anyway, that is her gear, ISO, and stats. So now it is time to bring her to tier 2. Alright, so we are going to be using a ticket on her because of course I don't have enough bios left over, and from my recent tier 2 I have been decimated on my Chaos Nordstone, so I need to build those back up again. So let's go ahead and use one of our tickets on her. And yes please, let's advance her. Alright, boom, so there we go. Titania is now tier 2. So let's take a look here. So we have advanced muscularity, or muscular. Whatever. It's too late for me to be reading right now. So it's activated when hit though, so that is kind of a drawback. But the fact that using her third skill is the same thing as Sharon Rogers, where when you do get hit, you accumulate damage, or accumulate the damage dealt to you and turn it into damage for yourself. You will be getting hit, so I don't really see too much of an issue activating this safely. But anyway, let's go ahead and see what it gives you. So it gives you increased skill damage by 25%, increased bonus damage by 15%, decrease all damage received by 25%, which is really nice, and then you actually get a heal on here as well, 15% HP heal, which works for me because I just happen to have recover rate on that obelisk I put on her. I didn't even read her tier 2 her tier 2 having recovery when I put the obelisk on, so it's just kind of, I got a immune to guard break with a invincibility, and I was like, you know what, I'm putting it on Titania. And also we have enhanced the effects of skill Stronghold, which is her passive skill. Alright, but this is on a 20-second skill cooldown, or 20-second cooldown because it's not a skill. So it's only going to be active about half of the battle because it's 10 seconds with 20 seconds. So that is a little annoying, but the bonuses are nice, so I definitely am happy with their tier 2 and the writing portion of it at least, but we still need to see it in action. Alright, so we have Breaker of Men. So now let's go ahead and take a look at her passive, or see what it changed it to. So there we have Stronghold. So now she has a 20% all defense. So that actually went up by quite a bit because it was only 5% at tier 1. So she got a 15% increase right there. So that is really nice, actually. So she should actually be quite a tanky character because she has this all defense and she has, what was it, 15 or 25%, yeah, reduce all damage received. So I really want to try her out now. So that's what we're going to do. So let's go ahead and try her out a little bit. Alright, so here we are at Infinity Thanos. He is today's world boss, so we're going to be trying out Titania here. So we're going to be using this team. We have Titania for her leadership, 50% increased physical attack, and of course that's for combat types only. And then we get the team-up bonuses here from She-Hulk and Hellcat. So we have physical attack, ignore defense, and then more physical attack with some physical defense. I know She-Hulk's leadership would be a little bit better, but since it's going to be about Titania, we're going to be using her leadership. And then for strikers here, we're just going to be using regular physical attack strikers. Just because this is Infinity Thanos, I think she might be able to do it without strikers, but I don't have the best of cards, so I'm not really going to take the chance right now. I'm just going to go ahead and use these physical attack strikers and see how quickly she can clear this, or how easily also she can clear this. Alright, so we do want to start with the third, and then do the first, second, buff with the fourth, and then use the iframe on the fifth, and hopefully the third will be ready after that time. You also just want to make sure that you do not get debuffed by Thanos, because of course that will debuff your obelisk, so then you will not have your immune to guard break, which is definitely something that she needs. Well, not needs, but makes the fight a lot easier, especially against world bosses, because then you don't get your skills interrupted. Well, right as I say don't get interrupted, he goes and teleports on me and interrupts me. But anyway. Alright, so she's doing pretty good so far. So not having too many issues. But of course it's probably going to come once he starts doing his meteors, because of course he debuffs you as well with the meteor shower. So you have noticed that you can get hit sometimes during the iframes, because I did take some damage right there, and that's supposed to be a full iframe with the fifth skill. But anyway, it didn't really affect us too much. Oh, using the skills a little too fast there. Need to go a little slower on that fifth skill, because I want to be hitting the fifth skill when I have 2 seconds left on the third skill. Alright, so we did get debuffed at some point there, so now we do not have our immune to guard break anymore. We could get that back, though, if we did switch characters and then switch. Well, we're going to switch right now anyway. So we'll switch characters, then when we switch back to Titania, she will have her immune to guard break back again. It's just kind of annoying to get debuffed, because that does affect our damage output. Ouch. Alright. Alright, so as you... Whoop, we're about to get debuffed right now anyway, but I was about to say, as you can see up there in the top, it still shows that our custom gear is active, or it's been reactivated. So that is a good way to get your immune to guard break back if you are finding that it got debuffed. See, that's supposed to be an iframe. I'm not sure why I didn't kick him out. See, we just got debuffed right there, so now our custom gear is not lit up anymore. Okay, there we go. We kicked him out that time with it. Maybe the wind-up when she's spinning at the beginning is not a full iframe. That could be the case. But either way, it does seem like it stops their movements, though, right when I start the skill. That heal is actually pretty decent, isn't it? That was like 6k or something. I wasn't really paying too much attention to it. I never checked what our team up is with this. Let's check that in a second here after we get our... Oh, or not. Run away! Alright, let's check it right now. Oh, it's her third skill. Okay, so this is actually a pretty good team to use then. Alright, and we should get him in this next... Oh, rotation of attacks here. Okay, yeah, so that was 6k that she gets from her heal, so that's actually pretty nice. That's a decent heal. Anyway, there we go. So we were able to clear it. We just had some tier 1 strikers, and they were just 8% damage strikers, and she was still able to clear this with about 45 seconds left, and she does not have a damage proc. So I am quite happy actually with that result. I know her leadership is 50%, so it is a pretty good leadership. But her damage is pretty decent, considering that she doesn't have the damage proc and also the strikers here, and that we are fighting Infinity Thanos and not just one of the regular world bosses, which you probably would clear a lot faster. So overall, I am quite pleased with Titania. She plays really nicely. She kind of does play actually like Sharon Rogers, because you rely on her third skill, then you kind of just rotate through the other skills, and she has one iframe skill like Sharon Rogers that's longer. That's a longer iframe that you can rely on to make sure that you get to the third skill again before you take too much damage. So definitely a very, very fun character to play. She will be able to clear pretty much any game mode for you. I don't see her having much difficulties with any of the floors in Shadowlands either, as long as, of course, she has the advantage or the typing to do damage in that floor. I think she will do fine. So I do think she's a solid tier 2 option if you are looking for a combat villain, because villains are of course very useful in Shadowland right now, and since there are not too many villains to choose from, she is a good option. Anyway, that's going to be it for this video. That was my thoughts on Titania here. I hope you enjoyed, and of course I will catch you in the next one.